I'm not wearing a suit and a tie, so my credibility would be a little bit different. But why am I here? We've talked a little bit about the ESG, and I want to talk specifically about that. It sounds like we all believe about the same thing, but I want to talk about some things that I find that a lot of companies don't talk about. I redesign corporate financial systems. I fly all over the country, and I help a lot of companies. So I'm going to help Utah right now. All of us are fairly intelligent, so let's talk about corporate evaluation. We're talking about ESG, the evaluation of what is a corporation worth? What is Utah worth for the receipt of capital assets, capital money that comes in? I'm going to ask some questions of the committee to get you thinking about this. Are you familiar with the evaluation of corporate bankruptcy using Z-scores? If I ask each one of you, do you know what the quick ratios are on your Utah's financial balance sheets? We have ESG, we have certain scores. When money comes into Utah, how does Utah look from a viable standpoint, from a corporate standpoint? Are they risk? What is the risk assessment? So get your mind thinking about, so probably the next time you meet, do you know what your quick and long-term and your ratios, those are on your balance sheet and your income statements. I find that when I go into corporations, they don't even know the valuation of the discounting of cash flows and maximization of owners' wealth. We're talking about stock evaluation. So Utah stock evaluation, we keep talking about ESG. So to wrap up my time, I want you to be thinking about really how do you present Utah from a financial standpoint and that score. This is extremely important when you're trying to bring money into Utah. Are we stable as compared to California or other ones? Obviously, we have good conservative evaluations. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Can you make sure you sign the clipboard there?
Yes.
Thank you.
And if you would, please leave some contact information.
I will.
I'd like to talk to you after.
Please do.
Thank you. My name is Steveced. I live in the Cottonwood Heights area. My grandfather told me, turn of the 19th century, that he rode a horse from the point of the mountain over here to Antelope Island. That meant to me that there was hardly any water in the lake. Then I remember in the 80s when we were putting millions of dollars into pumps, pumping water out into the West Desert potentially because downtown Salt Lake was going to be flooded. Now, some 30 years later, we're talking about the drought again. These things are cyclical. We haven't even determined definitively whether climate change is even a thing, and we're going to kowtow to those that want to push financial decisions based on those types of agendas. Under no circumstance should the government be putting money toward these ideological agendas. That's the climate change part of it. If we start to talk about the social ramifications of this and the social agendas that are being pushed by these policies, where do we stop? Does that mean that we have to agree with critical race theory if we're going to get a loan at the bank? That's where this is going. I think it's a slippery slope, and I think I'm preaching to the choir here, save one person. It seems to me that you're all in agreement, but these policies are leftist agenda policies that they want people to follow, and they want to force governments to follow them. This is something that we should never consider doing. Our freedom is worth way more than this. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Please leave your signature there.
Thank you for letting us speak today. We appreciate that. My name is Dawn Bates from Sandy, and I'm also a member of the United Women's Forum of Salt Lake chapter. I'm so grateful that we all agree because we don't always, and it's nice to come and talk to people who are in agreement with the things we are concerned about. This is the proverbial camel's nose in the tent issue. And we've seen this happen again and again. It starts out as something. This isn't seemingly unimportant, and we go ahead and we follow that course, and then we find ourselves in a big mess down the road. And I believe that this is basically global interference in our own constitutional republic. They can't tell us what to do. We have a government that has lasted for longer than any other government on the face of the earth. We know how to do it right if we just do it the way the Constitution has written it. The Constitution and Bill of Rights are the basic intellectual and legal underpinnings of our society, and nowhere in ESG is that document mentioned. That's a problem for us. It's the main job of government, state, and local to protect our rights, our life, pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that's what we hope that you will do. And it sounds like we're moving in that right direction, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your comments.
Hi, Mark Wasesha, Sandy, Utah. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak. It was mentioned here that maybe we're going to take this into committee or into several 5, 6, 7 meetings and running into maybe June and July, but even like as of next week on the 22nd through the 28th in Geneva, Switzerland, there will be a worldwide meeting of about 194 countries where they are going to, with the World Economic Forum, and I have to say just straight up that dirtbag Klaus Schwab and the people running that, along with the WHO and in concert with the UN, are going to attempt to strip our constitutional rights away with a treaty they'll be signing, stating that all global health issues will be under the control of the communist organization, I believe, the WHO, and the leader Tedros, who has a terrible history and not even a doctor that should be in charge of running any type of a medical world crisis. But that is going to be taking place this coming week from the 22nd to the 28th. Is anybody in this committee aware of that meeting and the ramifications that may occur between the 22nd and 28th when they will attempt to sign a treaty? Biden administration has agreed to sign that treaty already that will supposedly strip our constitutional rights away, where they can come and say anything is a health issue. Even they could call obesity a new scam or pandemic and take over run a complete organization or taking over our health systems if that happens. Is anybody here aware of that? And how this has to, what we're talking about today leads directly into that. And we need to move quicker than several meetings are running into June or July. We may not have that time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Let's keep the decorum going. It's been really good. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Chelsea. I'm from Utah County. I think we need to just call ESG what we all know it is. It's the Chinese Communist Social Credit Score. And we are very well aware that the digital ID that's trying to be pushed is going to be connected to that, along with vaccine and health passports, along with our bank accounts. And what happens is when you guys decide that we're doing something you don't like, we get cut off from money, from food. If you think we're not aware of what's going on and how this is tied to the UN, we are very well aware. Utah's very awake to what's going on, and it needs to end today. We're quoting the University of Utah. University of Utah is one of the most corrupt institutions in the state of Utah. And I happen to know for a fact that there are legislators on this board that are in bed with this. So it doesn't surprise me that this is being pushed. We're not dealing with this. We're not going to do this. Utah's taken a stand. We're saying no. It needs to end today. Thank you.
Please, we really want decorum in the committee. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. We're going to close public comment at this time. Did we have one more?
Just one more.
Okay, one more.
Thank you. My name is Carrie Hughes, and I just wanted to make a request that this committee consider our individual rights when it comes to looking at this ESG factor, and not just be thinking, I'm a financial advisor, and I'm very concerned about the combining of the political with business. But I'm also very concerned about our private liberties, and if ESG is put in place, that will impact the ability of individuals to get loans, to get insurance, to be able to do many things. And so I just request that you that you look at how you can protect our individual constitutional rights in whatever actions you take. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Okay, so we're closing comment at this time. We have a motion to adjourn. Any discussion to that motion? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.